Hello, everybody. How's it going? My name is Dizzy. I briefly forgot what I say at the start of a stream, which I shouldn't do because I say it at the start of literally every stream. I say, "Hello, everyone. My name is Dizzy." But today, I was like, "What comes after hello, everyone?" It's my name. It's my name. It's always been my name. It will always be my name. Hi there. How's it going? I briefly forgot my own name. Maybe I did. Oh dear. How is it going, everyone? We have a BG in the chat. We have a Shaskal. We have a Kinga. We have a Shaki. You're all lovely humans who I'm so glad to see here today for a thing that I don't normally do, which is 2 streams of the same thing in the same week. But I am on a real big Warhammer bent? Question mark? I am looking at my screen and I am confused because I am waving my hand in front of this camera to say hi to you all, and OBS is not telling me that it is doing anything. Are you seeing my hand in waving? Are you seeing a static screen? OBS? You see no hands. Okay. Well, okay, we are starting off with some technical difficulties, apparently. I don't know why. That sure is interesting. I've never had that before. Oh my goodness. A double dose of, yeah, a double dose of IRL Dizzy, no less, which is terrifying. Please bear with while I see if I can get... Okay, hang on. Right. Oh, the other thing I've discovered I can do is I can push this fade button and I get a much more gentle transition than just pushing the transition button, or maybe I don't. Maybe I'm blind. Anyway, hi there. Hi, how's it going? I hope you can see me now. Hands, wonderful, amazing. Thanks everyone so much for being here. We are going to be doing some more kind of chill, painting times, chatting nonsense about nonsense, probably. Oh, King Girl, you are a flatterer. This has died and is haunting the stream. I mean, there would be worse places for my spirit to be bound to for all eternity, but it's definitely not what I'm hoping for. Once again, we have my little light down here, but I'm not got it turned on because I'm worried it'll kind of wash everything out, and it casts this area into shadow by comparison, so the light will only be on if it's necessary. It is a lot darker out today. The clouds are over, although they seem to be going away, so maybe they won't stay over forever. But yeah, we'll be doing some chill painting. I'll put on a little bit of music as soon as I open up the tab for the music. Music. That kind of sounds like music. Let me know if it's a good volume. BG says, think of all the streams your ghost could do if it occupied your channel. Oh gosh. Think how burnt out my ghost would be if all I could do was be on this channel and stream. King says, I haven't got the hand cam working again. I've never understood the appeal of invisible jewelry. I don't think I follow, but thank you for thank you for contributing regardless, just because I'm slow. We have our 5 little guys who we have been working on. That sounds like it's a bit loud for me, so I need to turn it down on my end. She says, to be fair, I'd subject my ghost to it, might as well be doing something useful. Poor PG's ghost! Oh no! Oh dear. Alright, yes, we have our 5 guys who we've been working on steadily. Definitely needs to come down a lot. There we go. Sorry, because otherwise I won't be able to think. And speaking and thinking at the same time is hard enough without having music as well. Ian says, "Is it just a personal, well-known bit referring to hands as chokers / necklaces?" Oh, I see. Okay, no, I've understood it. Now you've explained it, but I wouldn't have ever got it on my own, I think. You'll also see we have a lovely, nice, relatively clean platter that was before absolutely chock-a-block full of paint from all the various different dry brushes and stipples that I've dried out on it over the months and years. It's finally had a good scrub, and it's not completely paint-free, but it's paint-free enough to be usable, which is what matters. We have our 5 guys here. I've got a tank sat in the back for after we put on the first layer on these guys. Oh, it is very dark without this light on. Can I find a different spot for the lights? Will it go like up here? Better? Oh, that might be a bit better. That'll allow you to actually see without blinding me, which is one of the important things. Gosh. So yes, so we are gonna make a start on these guys. I've got the tankers back up, and if I do everything, because I think the things I have to do today are going to be quicker than the things I did on Tuesday, Monday, whatever day I did things previously. I've got 5 backup guys to get a start on if everything is drying and we need something else to do. Oh, King Girl. I'm going to start out with the Elysian Green. I need to give it a good shake, obviously, because that's always the best way to start out. And for those of you who weren't here last time, what we are doing is we are... In fact, if I can grab a demonstration model, we are building up to this sort of camo-y type pattern, which you can see on this. This was my test demonstration model for what the color scheme is going to look like. We're building our way up to that, and in order to do that, we're going to take this really naff old dead brush and use it for stippling in a sort of just a random pattern. We won't be covering everything with it. We'll leave patches of the underlying color, and then we're going to put another darker green on top of this in much the same thing, following the lines that I lay out at this stage. The original intent wasn't for it to be camo-y, but it has ended up looking very camo-y, and that's okay. BD says, I'm a girl who loves her airflow. Kingo says, couldn't be me! Jessica says, I've decided to work on some models myself while you stream. Gonna make some old Sanguinary Guard presentable. Ooh, I've never actually seen an IRL Sanguinary Guards, but they look good online. But your plastic glue is dried out. Oh dear. I've got my plastic glue to hand. We're not planning to be building stuff on stream today. And that's for a couple of reasons. One is that I don't need any encouragement to build stuff. I'm a very prolific builder. I need encouragement to paint stuff because I'm a very unprolific painter. I only paint under heavy duress. Self-imposed duress, but heavy duress nonetheless. So I don't need the encouragement for building, and partly because also building takes a little bit more brain power, because I like to be quite inventive with my builds where I can be. Not these guys, these are all the push-fit starter box models, but most of the time. God, this music is going really hard, which is great, but it does make thinking very difficult. Jessica says, I've been painting a lot recently, I deserve a little treat. Oh, that's very good. I will probably actually need to do some building quite soon, because it turns out that although I have quite a significant painting backlog, almost none of it is Space Marines. It's almost all Orcs and Necrons. And I think what I really want to do is paint Space Marines. So I'm going to have to actually put some more together in order to have stuff to paint again, I think, in the future. And yeah, so the plan is we get paint out, we double it onto the thing to get sort of to work it through the bristles, but also so that it's not going on too heavy. And then we're just kind of dabbing on, drawing lines across the model wherever we see fit to draw lines. I think these tweezers are actually not helping at this stage, I'll be honest. And this one is quite a subtle green. It doesn't. The difference between this green and the underlying green doesn't show up well on camera. So for you guys, it will probably look like I'm not doing very much, but taking a long time to do it. And for that, I apologize. But I promise it's worth it once you see them in person. And with this one, we are going relatively heavy. We can stipple most of the model. The light patches that we leave in between don't need to be big, because the stippling effect itself leaves sort of holes and dots in the middle. Oh, I have been a fool though, and I will need to go at some point relatively soon. In fact, I will need to go now because I have not grabbed myself a tissue to dry out my brush with. So I'm gonna leave you for just a minute or two while I go and grab one of those. Unfortunately, I think the nearest one is downstairs, so I might be a sec. Hold on, gang. I won't be leaving you for long. Oh, hello everyone. Apologies for leaving you for that brief moment. I am now in possession of some paper tissue, which is excellent. Very important. Let's see if we can get camera back up. There we are. Lovely jubbly. Oh, Kingo says, do we need to pair up so we have someone to hold on to? Kingo, I feel like you will not have very much difficulty finding someone to hold on to. But if anyone does, you can all just sit alphabetically and then take hands 2 from the front of the line. Do people know what that means, hands 2? Or is that a uniquely sort of folky way of phrasing things? Type in chat if you know what I mean when I say hands 2. Or if you don't know what I mean by when I say hands 2. Hands on deck, hands to 10 and 2. No, okay. So I'm sort of interpolating the phrase hands 2 from the phrase hands 4 in particularly a contra dance. What you'll do is you'll before the dance starts, you'll get into a big long line, and the big long line will be you and your partner opposite each other, and then that repeated for every couple down the hall. And the thing with the conjure dance is that you'll be moving up and down the hall, and half of the people will be moving in one direction, and half of the people will be moving in the other direction. And in order to know which way you're moving up and down the hall, you do a thing called taking hands 4 from the top, which is where the top quartet will hold hands. So that's one couple, and then the top couple at the very top, and then the next couple. They'll hold hands in a ring of 4. And then once they've done that, the next couple will be able to see, okay, we're not holding hands with them. So they'll turn around and they'll hold hands with the couple that is next furthest down to make a ring of 4 again. And so on and so forth until everyone is in rings of 4. Hence why it's called hands 4. Because you're all holding hands and you're in a ring of 4 people. And it's done that way so that the people at the bottom who can't obviously tell whether they're like an odd number who needs to be going up the line, down the line, or an even number who needs to be going up the line, that's how they know, is because everyone's done a hands 4 from the top. So it's clear and obvious whether you're an even number couple going one way or an odd number couple going the other way. But a hands 2, by extension then, I think this guy is done. A hands 2 is you take hands just as a pair from the top and then work your way down. So everybody knows who their partner is. Says, what are we handing to them? Oh no. Sorry, I forget that not everybody has like the same level of weird folky exposure that I do. My first thought was a daisy chain. I guess it's not dissimilar to a daisy chain. We also do a move called a grand chain, which I imagine is similar to a daisy chain. A grand chain is where you're in a square or circular set, and you turn to one person and you take right hands with them and pass along, and then you take left hands with the next person and pass along, and you alternate taking right and left hands and passing people until you kind of go all the way around. It's a fun move because you get to sort of see everybody else who you're dancing with and interact with them directly. And the other thing that makes a good dance move is for there to be a lot of movement going on. Like generally, if more people are kind of moving, that's generally a good thing in contra dance, I think. Like everyone needs to have a little bit of a break period at some point, because just going up and down the hall, never stopping and doing lots of spins can absolutely knack you, and if it's a very, very spinny dance, you can end up extremely dizzy by the end. As I know from personal experience. Maybe you become extremely dizzy. Not in a dizzy origin story sort of a way. But yes. I do have, actually, other news about my life. I don't often have news about my life to talk about on the stream, but I have news of a sort about my life. Which is that I have been, I think some of you are sort of aware, I grow various plants on my desk. Oh, that is soaking wet. Let's not get that out. Hang on a sec. Give me a second. I just grab a plant. Plant! So I've been growing plants on my windowsill for a while now, and I started off with succulents, and I've sort of got other things going on. This rose is not the healthiest looking thing in the world. It did flower quite continuously for quite a while, which I was very pleased with, and now it is doing less well. But out of the pot of, I think, this rose, I pulled another thing. I'm going to go to a transition screen while I pop that back. Get it out of the way so I'm not painting my rose. But out of the pot of one of those little roses that I have 4. They came as like a cluster. They were sold all as one thing. They're actually sneakily 4 individual plants that have just been massively overcrowded into a pot together. Out of one of them, I accidentally was growing a little bit of a weed, and I had a spare pot just sort of lying around. I thought, I have no idea what this plant is, so I will grow it up and see if it takes. And it really did take. It took exceedingly well, to the point where a little weed that I pulled out of a rose at that long is now about, probably can't even fit it on screen, but it's probably about 30 to 60 inches long. Not that kind of weed, King Girl. But yeah, so I've been growing this thing. We just have no idea what it is. So we've started taking a concerted effort to identifying it, because it's come out in the last couple of days in flower. It's got these quite delicate little yellow flowers on it. Sadly, I've moved it downstairs, so I can't easily grab it for you and show you on screen. Otherwise, I'm sure some clever bunny in chat would know what it was called. But the current thinking is it's a thing called a canary creeper, which I need to look up to see what that looks like, what that means. But it's interesting. Inga says, just to be safe, try not to bleed on it? I think I try not to bleed on my plants anyway? Question mark? Do I want to know why? Is that a reference to something that I'm not aware of? Oh dear. It's a worryingly specific instruction. Green Mama from Outer Space Place. Okay, right. Okay. That's Little Shop of Horrors, I think? I've not actually seen it. You can see we're getting through these at a relatively rapid pace. So I'm not mad that I found some backup models. For us for later, in case we need them. And I don't know if I put them side by side, I don't know if in the light you can see the difference on camera. I don't think you can. I can see the difference here in person. And the other nice thing about this sort of haphazard painting style is none of them will have quite the same pattern on them. Like, there will be areas that are likely to be similar. My guess is that the kind of the crevice up behind them here will probably always be sort of a spot of green, of the darker green. Just because I can't easily make like a different pattern across that bit of back because I can't access it. I mean, all of their helmets will have different greening on them. All of their shoulder pads will be distinct and unique in their own way. And in the era of modern GW miniatures, which I know I go on about every time on stream that there is Warhammer happening, but in that era, every little bit of thing you can do to make your models distinct from each other is a good thing. I think he's pretty much ready. 2 more to go. And we've only taken, what, half an hour? Yeah, this is a quick process. Oops, dropped him. Just modern GW minis, individuality is illegal. Yeah, pretty much. But a small group of noble orc players and people who play orcs, but also Space Marines in this case, are fighting back, sticking it to the man. Mostly by just not buying any of the new products because they're hideously expensive. That's really where the man feels my protest. But still. Gonna have to shake up that pot again. Oh, I've got too much on my brush. I've got too much on my brush. Much too much on my brush. There we go. Don't want that thick. If we can at all help it. I am getting it kind of all over my hands. A little bit, or at least over my nails. Which is a bit of a shame. But there's not much that can be done about it, because I'm holding them by the little bar that snaps them into the base of the the base snaps them into the base, because it's a bits that won't be painted. It's just been primed because I spray prime, and so it gets caught in the blast. But the tweezers were not holding them steady enough for the kind of thing I'm doing, where I need to sort of rotate them around quite rapidly and get all angles of a certain bit. They were just sort of flopping about in the tweezers, which I don't want. Gosh, we're on to the last one already. Yeah, my hope is that, because this isn't very much paint going on, my hope is that this will be dry in time for me to do the darker green layer over these guys also on today's stream. That's the plan. The music sort of started a real crescendo and then just stopped halfway through. Huh. I do really like this Celtic mix. This what's this called? Adrian von Ziegler guy. Would rate. Would listen to in my own time, probably. If I have correctly updated it, the exclamation mark music command might give you a link to him. But just in case it doesn't, I'll put the link in myself. Nope, that's the intro music. Okay, never mind. I'm a fool. Oh my god, I can't spell with one hand. There we go. We got there in the end. This poor brush is so knackered. I might need a new dead brush to use for stippling soon, because every time I use this one gets a little bit more splayed. So I think it's gonna have its last day, and that last day is probably gonna be sooner rather than later. Okay, I think he is pretty much done. Okay, there we are, 5 little men, happily with their first layer of green on them. I'm gonna rinse this brush out, and I'm gonna go and change water, because the water is pretty green. And I will also, while I'm at it, give the brush a bit of a wash out in another room. So expect me to disappear for another couple of minutes in just a sec. But once again, I promise I'm not gone. I'm just dealing with things that can only be done off camera. Is the line juice, says PG? No, not actually. I could have got myself some lime cordial. Instead, I have this this lovely summer fruits cordial to drink. But we do have lime cordial in the fridge, but I tend to find it's not that good on its own. There's a lime and mint pre-made sort of cordial drink that I think it's Robinson's make, and that's really good. Hashtag not sponsored, I guess, by Robinson's. But it manages to be refreshing in the way that minty things are always supposed to be, but very rarely are. Alright, I am gonna go and finish thing with this brush and refresh this water. I will be back in just a mo. Don't go anywhere. Alright, hello all, I'm back. Once again, sorry for taking a sec to stand off to another room, but it must be done. Fiddled with my cable there. Alright, as you see, I've gone and grabbed the tank, which we were also working on last time. And that will be our next thing. I need to find somewhere to put this. I want something to stand them on that will not get any of my nearby surfaces covered in paint. But it is also not itself grimy in any way. Ah, I know what we'll use. Hang on a sec. As you can see, I was tremendously prepared. One, two, three, four, five. Trying where I can to pick them up by the bottom bit and the gun, because those are the not green surfaces. Alright, and you can see I've got out a new brush. You've only seen this one before. This is by far and away the biggest brush that I use to paint models. And it's only pretty much used for this tank so far, because this is the only big vehicle I've seriously painted. And we are going to swap out our Elysian Green into the big box of paints. Go to the understory of the big box of paints and find Athonian Camo Shade Wash Paint. There we go. Not. Hello. Hello, can you hear me? OBS did a die. I apologize if we did die there. If you dropped me. Let's look. I'm seeing Shaka, a King Girl. We back? Okay, wonderful. Apologies for that. As usual, direct all complaints to Richard Branson at virginmedia.com. He provides my internet, and he doesn't do it well. It must be said. I was talking about my brush and how I only ever use this big brush on the big models, which so far has mostly pretty much just been this tank. Write a sternly worded letter. Thank you, Shaka. But yeah, washes. More liquidy kind of paints. You really can't see that sloshing around in there, can you at all? Maybe you can, a little bit. But yes, not a thing I'm tremendously confident with using, but have had good effects on the test models. So we're gonna put it into action, I guess. This probably will still need a shake, like everything else. Make sure it's properly mixed. I don't know how much washes do separate, but we can't do any harm by shaking it. And the other thing with washes is it is traditional for these large, tall wash bottles to be very unbalanced and to fall over at a moment's provocation. Now, obviously, this little paint pot stand thing will hopefully help with that, but it's a rite of passage for everyone's Nuln oil wash to go over. I don't actually think I have a Nuln oil wash, but I have had various washes go over for me in the past. And it's, as somebody who is neurotic about wasting paint, it is the least pleasant thing that I've experienced in the Warhammer hobby. So look out for that. I guess. Okay, I'm gonna go up, make sure our brush is nice and ready. Oh, sorry, BG. No, it was my internet. It's almost always my internet if there's a stream problem. And the idea with the wash basically is because it's very wet, it runs quite heavily, but it pulls in natural recesses in the model. And it's very translucent, so it goes kind of over what you've already done. And in this specific instance, with this scheme, what I found that it does is, besides sort of collecting in the recesses, I found it just sort of softens out the quite stark contrast between the three different greens that I use, because I don't mix my paints at all. I'm not a fancy painter in that way. This tends to just kind of blend between them a little bit. Which is a thing that I appreciate for it, because the contrast can be quite stark otherwise. I do need to make sure I'm getting enough into those little shaded areas, but I do want to have a bit of a shadow in them. And the other thing, of course, is because it is a bit more liquidy, the orientation and gravity do matter. So actually, I should only really be doing one side at a time. So I'm going to leave the top, just focus on doing this side for now, I think. And also, because it is liquidy, it will take ages and ages and ages to dry. So having said that, I'm going to leave the top, means that probably the top won't get done today. Apparently. Yeah, it is definitely possible to go too heavy with this, but in practice, I've not found that I do. I found that I can generally afford to be fairly heavy-handed with this, and I don't know if you guys can see. You can see the wetness. I don't know if you can see the color difference yet between the wet and the dry. I do want to make sure I get around those rivets, because it'll pull at the base of the rivets. And it is best, a wash is definitely best done on a surface that is more sort of buried. So the slab sides of a tank are not what it's designed for, but it's what it's damn well getting. And if it doesn't like it, it can also write a strongly worded letter to Richard Branson. Not because he can do anything about it. Well, I guess he could show up and chat and pay me a lot of money. And I might consider doing something different. I don't know, if someone showed up in chat and gave me a lot of money to do something with my model I don't like, I don't actually know if I'd even do it. I'll be honest, like, I like money, but I've put a lot of effort into this tank already. And even if it was enough money to buy a whole new one of these, you know, would it buy back the effort? Question mark. Cheska says, there we go, after clearing my desk with a bunch of scraped off super glue and mold lines, and I have 5 Marines awaiting my next plastic glue purchase. Oh dear. Well, good for you for getting what done you could. That was a sentence. I want to make sure that I'm really getting stuff into these crevices in particular, because they're next to like the engine mount, so they want to be the dark ones. You'll see that the inside of them, well, you probably won't see actually, but the inside of these I haven't actually painted because they're gonna be a dark color. I might well put them in black and just fill them in black. I haven't decided yet. If not, they'll be silver, and then they'll be a dark wash of some kind over them. I really do want to make sure that they are obviously and overtly darker than the rest of the miniature. Yes, I did just horrendously overpronounce the word miniature for no good reason. What can we do? See, I'm sort of rebrushing over bits as well, where I see that they are unevenly done. I'll go back and just even out, because what I don't want is for this wash to be kind of too patchy over the top of things. I want the wash over the flat surfaces to feel quite consistent. And that's one of the other reasons why I can sort of be heavy with it, is because if I'm heavy with it, I'm at least heavy with all of it. Whereas if I'm sort of going light, I know there'll be bits where I go lighter than others and bits where I go harder than others. We have an unliving lake. How's it going? I've never painted mini in my life, but it's so cool to watch. How long does this process take me on average? I mean, weeks and months of my life. I don't know how long a miniature takes. Definitely longer than it should do. I can tell you that much. One of the reasons why I don't really like painting is because I'm a very slow painter. Something like so these guys here, they have only been painted on stream. And they've probably taken, I don't know, 2 to 3 hours for the 5 of them on stream, and they're not done by any stretch of the imagination. They're not even necessarily that close to being done. So a long time. Now, partly that is my fault because I have a slightly stupid color scheme going on that is a bit more complicated than it really needs to be. But partly that is just I am very slow at doing this. We also have a Jasmine in the chat. Hi there, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. I think I can probably do pretty much this whole top bit in one go, because it's only got one way up. It doesn't really have slab sides the way the body of the tank does. Like the underside, I might want to do. If I flip it over this side, I might want to do like later, rather than doing it now, because I think if I do it now, it'll just drip off onto the paper underneath, and none of the wash will actually end up on the model. But everything else can pretty much will be done together. The bit of painting that I like the least is where I'm just painting kind of a flat colour onto flat surfaces. That's the bit that I do least well at. Partly because my lack of technical skill shows very heavily there. I end up with very kind of blotchy, uneven coverage. And partly because it's not very interesting. I bet everyone's having a good National Girlfriend's Day. Oh! Well, I am not, because I didn't know that it was National Girlfriend's Day. Who is the nation's girlfriend today, Jasmine? Who are we all collectively dating? That is how National Girlfriend Day works, right? Of my nationwide girlfriend, wow. That's the true spirit of polyamory. Right there. We just all share one girlfriend. I checked. I do. Sorry, I can't read it. Oh dear. We do love brisket. Oh, Bridget Guilty Gear. Oh, good choice. A bold choice by the Labour government. Given, you know, all of their various rhetoric recently, but a good one. I want to be very heavy on that bit in particular, there, because I think I've slightly underserved it with the green splodginess, but this will add darkening to it. Not in quite the same way, but it will add it in a way. It is once you've done most of a piece, it's sometimes a little bit difficult to tell where the bits you haven't done are. Oh god, don't want to hold it by that. Particularly as you get around to sort of, because it's, you know, it's the circle, right? So they get around to the bit of the circle where I started. It's like, okay, where's the bit that isn't wet because I haven't done it, and which is the bit that isn't wet because it's just dried by now? Oh, I just put my finger in it. Silly Dizzy. I now have a green middle finger. Or not middle finger, this one, ring finger. You could tell wasn't becoming for exactly that reason. It's put to a vote. She didn't win the majority, she didn't get the largest support. Ah, we have a trans right. How's it going? Oh, trans rights. You will be very pleased to hear this. Some lovely anonymous person who is very generous has been onto my throne and has acquired for me some new hand goop to replace my existing hand goop. I'm not sure if I've actually shown off my hand goop on camera. Here's my hand goop. The lid is broken. It is almost entirely empty. Like, I can squeeze this fairly safely knowing that nothing is going to come out. There's a little bit in it. It's got a couple of spurts left in it, as it were. But not only did they get me that, this same very generous individual has also acquired for me off of my throne a lovely Lego model that I will be putting together for you all on stream when it arrives. And I am absolutely chuffed. This was very kind of them. Very generous. They are anonymous, so I do not know exactly who they are. They left no message, but if they're out there listening, they are tremendously appreciated. And their work will serve to make sure you guys get more Dizzy hand streams in future. That sounds like a very cool anonymous person. It does, doesn't it? Okie doke. I think we just have. I've just put my finger on it again because I really am that thick. And in the same place as well as where I put my finger on it last time. I think we are about to be done with the green wash for this. I don't think there are any bits that we didn't get. And I don't know if you can easily see. Where the hell is that camera? But it is significantly more muted. If I show you this side and then show you this side, can you see how it's more kind of muted now that it's got the wash over it? I hope you can. I do I want to actually pick off something there where it's just pulled a little too heavily for my liking. There we go. Just overbrush that out. So I don't want to end up with like just a shadowy splodge on the model, as opposed to all the other splodges on the model. That's nearly dry, but it's not quite dry yet, so we won't go back to it just yet. I should also, because I mentioned my throne, I don't know if you can see the other things people have got for me on my throne. I don't know if there's like a history thing, but you can all have a look and be excited, if you can see it, about the thing that is to come. And if not, it's a Lego car model. There are other Lego car models on there. You can look at and imagine what thing you're going to be excited about me building on the stream. The other thing, I guess, is that it being August, it is my birth month. And so it is probably correct and proper for me to do a birthday, or at least a birthday adjacent stream at some point in the next couple of weeks. So if you have thoughts what you would like to see for that, do let me know, because I have ideas. I don't necessarily know if they're good ideas, but I have ideas. Transfight says, if the hand cream is indeed the version without petroleum, you can use a peanut-sized amount and it'll absorb quickly enough you might not even need a towel. Ooh! That is music to my ears, Transfights. I have never seriously checked the ingredients list for a thing like that, because I don't buy them myself. So it'll be a world of discovery for me. Alright, we're going to put the wash away. This hasn't got very much colour in it, because the washes are very watery. So that the brushes don't need cleaning out as much, and then there's not as much pigment on the brushes when they do need to clean out. My hands could do with a bit of a wipe off, just to make sure they're not wet at all, from where I've accidentally been putting my finger in the wash. It says, music to my ears never made sense to me. What else would you use to listen to music? I think the idea is that it is music to your ears as opposed to other sounds which might reach your ears, which could be less pleasant. Yeah? So, it is the sound of music to your ears which makes you feel happy, as opposed to other sounds which may not evoke happiness. Now, how dry do I think these guys are? Do I think they're ready for another layer on top? I'm gonna say yes, I do. No, actually, I've just touched him. I don't think they're quite ready. That's fine. We have a backup set of things, which unfortunately I need to do the very boringest part on. It is sad but true. The boringness does need to be done. Or, as an alternative, actually, I've just seen and reached over to grab this guy. This guy is currently brown, but he's a Chaos Marine, and he's not going to be brown for all of his life. He's going to be the same but different in green. So maybe I will actually give him a re-undercoating, if you will, in the other green, so we can see the two schemes progress kind of side by side a little bit. How does that feel? I think that feels like a good plan. Oh, what time is it? It is 1 o'clock. You know what, I'm actually feeling really hungry. Maybe I will go shorter on this stream for the purposes of consuming food. Oh, girl. He says music keeps the brain quiet or makes the noise it makes the noise the brain should make. Oh, Pat. Oh dear. Johnson says if you tell it music enough you can hear it with your stomach and your lungs? That's concerning. In its own way. Now this paint hasn't been used in ages and ages, so I have no idea what condition it's in. It looks kind of fine. Might give it a bit more of a shake, just to be sure. Jasmine says, I have a birthday stream idea. You should ramble about an interest and I will listen enthusiastically. Aww, Pat. My current plan for a birthday stream is to make it more paleo themed, but it requires, to do so, tools, which I'm not certain I have access to. So we will see if that plan comes to fruition or not. Oh, ow. Okay, I think, based on the fact that my wrist is breaking, I think that's enough. I'm gonna move you over to the drying place, so that you can become dry. And I need one of these. Not fine detail. Not one of those. That one. There we go. Regular detail. But yeah, so a paleo-y themed stream might end up by accident being me rambling about an interest and everyone listening with whatever your personal degree of enthusiasm is. But we'll see. So yeah, it's been a long time since I painted with this green, and I've not done a Chaos miniature in this colour scheme that I'm planning to do for them yet. So this will be a little bit of a journey for everyone. Don't be alarmed. Actually, no, be alarmed, because I'm going to be panicking this whole time, so you might as well be as well. And we are not going to be aided by the fact that this is not the green undercoat that I would perhaps have liked for this colour to go onto. We're going on to brown. Johnson says, do not be alarmed. I mean you no harm. I wish to hear your words. Share your feelings. Know your thoughts. Aww. More things to cause alarm, says PG. Now I will say, I do believe it was me who painted this guy in brown in the first place, so I think it is only my fault, and only me to blame for him being the wrong colour. However, that was past Dizzy, who was of course a fool and was wrong about everything. Unlike present Dizzy, who only makes good choices. And is never wrong, and will never change their mind about any of the decisions they are making. Be not afraid, mortal, says King Girl. I'm descending from heaven with a holy task for you. Do not. Oh, King Girl. Oh, I got caught out like a Fion. But also, that is basically how Jesus was born, right? I knew this was going to be a scary color of green going on. I was underprepared for just how scary a color of green this is. Wowzers. It is a really scary green. Can you all see how scary that green is? Oh, Kingo, we had the same thought. Oh dear. This is definitely a paint that is, I think, designed to be used as a highlight rather than as a full covering for something. Which isn't going to stop us. But it's going to make me think, oh boy, have I made a good choice here? And at least putting this scary green on over the brown is much more visually interesting an experience. It makes for much better content than me putting a slightly different green over a light green base coat, which is what I was doing earlier. Large spending Wikipedia 3 thread locked after 14,000 messages. 3 people docked, 2 dead, Pope abdicated, says King Girl. Oh. What do we think about the current Pope? People who know more about these things than me. Because he's come off as like a public persona, as being a better Pope than we've ever had before, but still not going far enough. For my filthy heathen Protestant tastes. Says, I think it's because it's got sit down Angel Task she's chill with it before, and boom, Pregnant stay. I think that is the story as how it is told in the Gospels. Yes, although they probably don't use the word pregnant stay. He says the whole F slur thing is funny. Oh, I know it's him saying the F slur. I missed this, obviously. The Pope used the F slur? That is almost funny. Wow. Huh. It was like an Italian gay culture word. So was he trying to use it in like a reclaimed way? Not the usual slur. Okay. An old 40s to 50s Italian version of the F slur. Okay, I see. That's weird. Was it supposed to be used? Was it intended in a positive reclamation context, or was it intended in an old person negative context? Because that obviously greatly matters as to how I feel about it. He's like French, so presuming he didn't learn it at the time. Isn't he from South America? I thought. He said there was like an air of... Oh my gosh, wow. That's very funny. I think if there was an air of F-sluratory at the Vatican, more queer people would be on board with it. Wow. I'm not gonna say it because I genuinely don't know how Twitch would react to even me as a queer person saying it. He is from Argentina. Okay, fantastic. I'm glad I wasn't being a fool, as that has been known to happen. But obviously only past Dizzy is a fool, as we established earlier. Never present Dizzy. That's fair, BG. It's slurs and the reclaiming and use thereof are obviously a very sort of deeply personal thing. And like it's very easy for me to do as somebody who's never really had it used against me in that way. You know, I've never been yelled at me on the street or anything. I was once called a batty man by someone on the street, which I had to go away and look up what it meant, but is a queer slur. But it was quite amusing because I'd just come out of a gay club in Bristol, and somebody else had just come out of a gay club and was traumatized by the fact that the gay people in there had hit on him. And he was seeking, I think, support from me and the person I was with, and found none was forthcoming. And he didn't even use it. It was his friend who was like... his friend realized who this guy was talking to, was like, nah mate, that's a batty man and his dyke friend. It's like, it's obvious from context what this means, but I have never ever heard the word used before. Can you see how scary green he is now? I know I keep using the word scary, and will continue to do so as I continue to paint models this color for the foreseeable future. It says, it's still funny to me that Bo Burnham's Cancel Me song uses an old Aladdin costume as his problematic past. Oh. I despite knowing Shaka, I still am only loosely familiar with Bo Burnham's discography and history. And so I could not tell you a problematic thing that Bo Burnham has done. if he was looking for examples of a problematic thing for a song called Cancel Me. I fell off of him before the pandemic. I liked him before he got cool, so I have a couple of memories, says King Girl. There is a tricky bit here that I'm really struggling to get paint onto, so you'll have to forgive me while I take the thing off screen. So I get it really close to my face and be really precise. There we go. You couldn't see it, but it was kind of up here. It was one of the underside of like a plate. That is the other thing that a watered down paint and a wash are very good for, is for maybe getting into the bits that you didn't quite manage to get into properly with your actual brush strokes. Just had a concept for like the ultimate April Fool's kind of Warhammer stream. I'm not gonna do it, but the concept that I just thought of was I have something like this where I'm painting a model and I'm like, oh, I just gotta get this tiny little bit, and I take it off screen and I just pull back a completely painted model to see if anyone notices. Says a tricky bit is only 2 letters off a way I can be described. Tricky bit? What's 2 letters away from a tricky bit? Am I being slow and dense? Possibly. Oh, you're being rude to yourself! Someone give BG a bonk for me, please. Because she deserves it. Well, he's always rude to myself. It's true. I should have seen it coming. That's very fair, Transfights, and it is lovely to have you here in whatever capacity you are here. It's not required to be as a full person glued only to my screen. This guy is absolutely full of hard-to-reach bits that are hidden under and behind other bits. It is most distressing, and I worry that those bits are going to end up kind of clogged with paint. Because I can't kind of brush it out, if you see what I mean. Like, I can just sort of put the brush down there, and then whatever paint comes off, however it wants to, not however I want it to. Just I think the best way to stop is not acknowledging it. He says, have you tried taking him out to dinner first? No, I'll confess I haven't. He's a plague marine, so I don't know what he eats. But it might not be tremendously appetizing. Also, he's from the 40k universe, so it might just be like ground up bits of people. Because the 40k universe has no concept of being sensible. Let's go suggest mushrooms. Kingo says raw chicken. Or leftovers, really old leftovers. So they had concepts of being sensible that would be 40k? Yeah, that's true. Vesco thinks really old leftovers are mushrooms, and I'm not sure I can disagree. This guy, this is the longest bit for any model, is this kind of first coat of paint. And it is the bit that really, I think, stops me from doing more painting. Because it takes a long time. And it's difficult. Because you have to get into everything. And you have to get it like a nice even coverage. But this one guy, just doing this on him, has taken as long as it did to do 5 guys with the Elysian Green. More shape means more surface area. Yep. Okay. Another thing is he's a modern GW miniature. So he's monopose. He can only ever be in this pose. I couldn't have posed him differently to make him easier to paint or anything. And also being a modern GW miniature, he has more quote unquote detail. But like a lot of the detailing on his backpack is just kind of indistinct shapes. That it's really not sort of like, I don't know what any of them are. There's shapes on his backpack for sure. Are they pipes? Is it cabling? What color should it all be? So it'll probably end up just being all kind of this green, because it's a lot easier to do that than to try and detail individual half-formed shapes. BG says, I thought the longest bit here was Kingo being lewd. Kingo asks if that's a bit. I think just because something's true doesn't mean it's not a bit, if that helps you decide if it's a bit or not. Like, I have a bit about how I really strongly dislike that people say there's no such thing as a fish. And it's true, I do strongly dislike it when people say that, and it is wrong. But it is also a bit that I keep sort of pointing that out. It's not a very funny bit, but it is a bit of sorts. It is a classic Dizzy thing to do. Okie dokie. I think everything on this guy that needs to be greened is now greened. And that is a terrifyingly electric colour, my gosh. Wow. You'll need a second coat. We knew that already. But pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with how that's turned out. I will see if, once I put this away, see if I can get a side-by-side view of him versus the proper Space Marines, so you can see just how strikingly different the colours are. She's more bits than budget now. In an Obi-Wan voice, oh dear. Oh, King Girl. Oh dear, alright, okay. Pop lid on brush. Try and pop lid on brush without horrendously splaying all of the bristles of brush. Good. If and only if we can manage it. There we go. Boop. Alright, okay, so comparison of models. We have Chaos Marine and regular Marine. If I hold them up. Yeah, scary colour, not scary colour. Ugh. Okay. Now, who was it? It was you who before I was like, I'm not certain you're ready yet. You're still a little tacky. So I think they're gonna just sit and rest. How about you? How are you feeling, tank? I think you're dry enough I can do another side. Because I'm not going over anything that I've put the wash on. I'm just adding it to a different surface. So it needs to be dry enough that it's not going to run when I put it on a different side. Jessica says, why am I receiving a phone call from Armenia? Oh, and BTO, no. Alright, once again, I'm going to go clean out some water, and I'll be back in a little sec. Don't go anywhere. And miss me lots. Hello, and I'm back. Have you been being good? King says, let's be fair, I'm the one responsible for the oh no. Okay, so not been being that good then, but that's fine. we love you, King Girl. Right. While I'm here, I must remember to show you, if I can, a thing. Oh, maybe I can't. The back door of this is supposed to open. And it did open because I have in fact, you can't see it, but I have in fact painted. See if I do that? No, you can't. I have in fact painted the interior of the tank before I ever started doing this on stream. However, currently the back door is sealed shut with paint. So I will need to prise that open the same as I will the side doors at some point. But that's a problem for a future Dizzy. We are back and we are gonna... Let's get some washing done on the top surface. Oh no. I need to get my wash back out. In order to do that, of course. Oh, just right. Oh no. Oh dear. Alright, we've got our camera shade again. Very important to make sure I do have the right wash. Because if I were to do this over in the wrong green, it would be a mismatch and a disaster. Yes, BG, definitely bonk. I'm astonished you're even question marking that one. I feel like it's not going on as nicely this time on this surface for whatever reason. I'm not quite certain why that would be. It's just a feeling I'm having. It might just be that the light has changed. So I can't see it going on quite as well. Oh, advanced rights. Oh, God. He says if things are actually lewd or if I'm just making them lewd at this point. I'd rather it's the former than the latter. That's fair, I guess. So, do I just need to just dry this brush out a bit? And then clean it out a bit. And then try again. No, I can't really say that that's helped. I can't even put into words exactly what I think is wrong. I don't feel the brush is sort of spreading quite the way it was earlier. And I'm not sure why that is, because it looks like it is when it's in the paint pot. It's just on the model. It's not kind of spreading out and brushing over the model the way I'm expecting it to. Says, is it because it's a large flat surface? Well, that was a large flat surface. I wonder if actually it's because this surface isn't quite large and flat enough. And it's if this brush is like getting caught up on the details. That sounds like a thing that could be true. Don't know if it is true, but it sounds like a thing that could be true. Maybe I just need to slow down and take my time a bit more, who knows. Not me, that's who. Joshua says the fun part is writing things in a way it's not entirely obvious when it's about someone with a wooden back. Yeah. No, trust rights, it's entirely obvious which one you're talking about. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the wooden door that needs sanding is not even something that occurred to me. Although if it was a door that would need sanding, surely this would be like the exact opposite of the time of year, because the wood warps when it's wet, right? So it would be winter time when you sort of suddenly discover, oh, I need to do something about this. It's the wrong shape. It's getting stuck. Or at least that's how the doors in our house go. Just as it's been quite swampy though. I can't say I've noticed that. I was promised a thunderstorm. I was promised another thunderstorm again today, and it so far hasn't materialized. And I'm very disappointed. And by promised, I mean that there was a weather warning for one. I don't mean an actual promise. And I'm not actually cross with the Met Office at all. Should stress. Says maybe someone called the door a good girl. Oh no. Yeah, I think the problem is probably that I'm using the same brush that I was using for the big slab sides, and the top surface of this is actually quite detailed. Maybe I should have used a different brush. I could still change, but like I've nearly done the whole top now, so I'm not sure it would be worth it at this point. It says maybe not massive amounts this week. We had 25 mil of rain. It's 25C outside. Fair enough. That definitely sounds like a condition that could be likened to a swamp. Hot and moist. Jessica says 5 more models awaiting plastic glue and some 3D printed jump packs. Ooh. I do wish I had a 3D printer for Warhammer stuff. Games Workshop would flay me alive if they heard me saying it. And because we live in Britain, they would have the legal right to do that. Since my brother has a filament printer but not resin. I'm not up enough on 3D printing to know what difference that makes even. In fact, I wouldn't even know that it made a difference if you hadn't pointed it out as being something different. We are very nearly done with this top, and I'm also kind of, I guess, doing the front bit as well here, so that it's at the correct angle. Jessica says, resin is good for miniatures, includes toxic materials, while my brother has a big one for making big things like Star Wars props. Has very obvious ridges, doesn't do well on small scale. Ah, yes, okay. I now understand, because I've seen miniatures painted with like very big chunky lines on them, and people talking about that as a thing with 3D printing. Now gonna get a little bit mucky again and just flick on this cap. There we go. Wonderful. Although I haven't actually painted under here, so maybe I don't really need to wash it, but I'll wash around the edges just so that any bits that do show appear washed. There we go. Okay, and now this front section as well. There we go. It must be just because the top's too detailed, because that's gone on exactly how I wanted that to go on that big flat bit there. I'm gonna do this bit of detail there, and around the top of this ridge here. This is a nice bit that should hopefully pull in. And I'm going to do this very front there, around the track casing. To realise I don't have a lot of good places to hold this. While I do. It's okay, so we have enough, just about. There we go. Alright, it's another surface painted. I still got to do this side, and then the back, and then the bottom, which will all need another go around, and then this. I've seen a couple of spots that need a touch over, and I also need to do the underside bit. Will anyone see that? No. But I'll know it's there. Now I know it's done properly. Wonderful. What time is it? It's about 2 o'clock. We've got plenty of time left. Ooh, be back. Ah. Ooh. Ow, 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 my back. My poor back. Ow, 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 my back. Ow. I wonder if that means I should pack it in early. I wasn't looking to do a shorter stream today, but it'll give the other guys some more time to dry, because I am a little bit worried about going over too quick. It will also mean leaving the tank kind of half done, which I am not too sure about. So it says you can get away with FDM if you print in ABS or ASA and chemically smooth the model afterwards. Those are all words. That's because I'll need to either pay someone or ask if my brother knows someone or both. Jessica says my expertise is more so in making and editing models than printing them. Transfer says I have no idea how to handle Blender. I have no experience in any of them, so I am A smidgen lost. I do know what CAD stands for, though. That's the first acronym so far. If you ask me, FDM stands for Freddie Delano Roosevelt, who was the Moose president. ABS sounds like it's some kind of hazard warning. And ASA is a chain of supermarkets in the UK, owned by Walmart in the US. CAD stands for scoundrel or rogue, says Kingal. Oh, maybe this is what Lego bricks are made from. Ooh. Well, it's a good material then. I can vouch for that. Yeah, no, I definitely can't touch that for a little while. How am I feeling about you guys? Yeah, you still feel tacky on top, so I think we're gonna call it there. Bit of a shorter stream, but this is also the first week in a while where you've had like all 5 streams properly as advertised. So I don't feel too bad about taking it easy. Let us pop on a little transition screen, and I will go and find us someone to give a little raidy poos to, because I'm going to say goodbye. Let's have a look. Centaur is playing Minecraft. Interesting, I've not seen them playing that before. Who else do I know who is live? Viz is live playing XCOM 2. I do like a bit of XCOM. Shall we see if go double check that they're not in like a break or anything, because that would be bad. No, it does look like they're live. Alright, we're gonna go say hi to Viz T. Transfer says Viz has killed me though. I assume you mean that a character named after you in XCOM. Or am I not the only person who is here haunting my own Twitch stream? If you're haunting my Twitch stream, Transfights, does that mean that the hand goop is actually like ectoplasm? That's a concerning thought. Anyway, let's go say hi. Nope, that is not how you spell the word raid. That is how you spell the word Visty, though. There we go. / raid Visty. Alright. You all know Visty. Visty is a good friend of the channel. Is a lovely streamer to go and watch. Is a mod for various people as well. We love Visty. Go be good. Get someone named after you, and then have them die. It looks like they're fighting against sort of snake people at the moment, so that'll be an interesting death at least. Oh, King Girl. You don't have to apologize for that, sweetie. Yeah, go away, be good. Have a good time. I'll be back tomorrow with Shaka. As far as I know, we will be at our normal time of noon. I don't think there's anything that's going to make us late tomorrow, but bear with. I will, while the raid is still going, I will remember to go and turn on the hand goop redeem, so you can get the last of this tube out onto me before a new tube arrives. But yeah, thank you everyone so much for being here. I've had a lovely time. I hope you'll have as well, and there will hopefully be more Warhammer coming at some point in the near future. But until then, my name has been Lizzie. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ra everyone! Bye!